Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So it just dawned on me that I've never actually told you all my name. So my name is Oliver Snowball, hence Snowball Engineering. Now someone commented the other day saying, is he actually called Oliver? Or someone just put that in the comments and everyone else has picked up on it. But yeah, I am actually called Oliver. So what we have to do today is to alter this axle. So this is an axle off a Grimme potato harvester. So the wheel, like the side of the machine originally is about there, and the wheel sticks out past the outside of the machine. But what they're doing with this machine is they're converting it into a windrower, so it still lifts the spuds out of the ground, but then it drops them into the next row, or the next bed, whatever. So when the big self-propelled harvester comes along, it's picking up 4 rows of spuds instead of 2. So what they want doing is this wheel to be on the inside, so it's running on what it's already lifted. Now I have to alter this end. You can't just put the tube, you can't just take the tube out and put the tube in the other way, because then you'd have to flip the whole thing over and then the top will become the bottom and the bottom will become the top. So what I need to do is remove this bottom section and turn it round this way, so it's still the same way up, but so then this box is welded onto that side with the whole lot facing inwards. So they've already had one machine done, or the old one, but I went down to have a look at it to see how it'd been done, and you could see on the tyre that all the tread on one side of the tyre had been worn off, not on the other. So it either hadn't been welded on square, or there's some camber angle on that, which looks like there maybe is some camber. So what I'm going to do is work out how much camber angle it has before I chop it off. Then when I come to weld it back on, I can either put it on the same as it is, or I can do away with some of the camber and maybe wear the tyre a bit more even. So I've clamped them bits of box section on there, and it has in fact got some camber. So over 300 mil up, it's got 10 mil of camber. So it measures 423 at the bottom from there to there, and then 300 mil up, it measures 433 from there to there. So if I take note of that, and you can also see it's been welded on square with this box. So if I take note of that and then chop it off, then I can decide when I weld it back on whether I give it less camber to make the tyre wear more evenly. Now whether it's designed with camber to take out the flex of the machine because there's so much overhang or what, I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't know why that is. Yeah, we can start chopping bits off now. So I don't need them anymore because we're there for the levelling ram, but because it's going to be running at a different width, they're going to be in the wrong place anyway, so I'll chop them off, and they're going to be in the way for when we weld it back on. So I'll chop them off first, and then it's just, this bit of box is just butted up to that, it's not welded, it doesn't come through into this bit, so it should just blast them welds away, and then hopefully it should come off. I've got them brackets plasmaed off. They're not needed anymore, and they're going to be in the way anyway for when it gets welded back on the other way. So I've chopped them off. So now we'll gently see if we can gouge these welds away. And it looks like it is welded down there and down there as well. So I've got gouged across the top. You can see the separation line all the way down there, down that side, most of the way down there, and then down that side as well. So I'll either have a go at these welds in the middle now, or I'll flip it over and do the long weld across the bottom. Right, so that's that off of there. So I'll give that a clean round now. Give that a clean up. And then we're getting welded back on the other way, so yeah, we'll give that a right good clean up. If I've gouged any bits out, I'll fill them in so you can't tell that it's been chopped off and re-welded back on again. There's just a little bit of weld to put in there, cosmetic reasons, and we'll grind it flat again. The box section I've managed to, well, there's a little bit I've gouged out there, but it's pretty difficult gouging and not digging into either one or the other, or both. So I need to get this tacked back on here now. Trouble is, it's 80mm, it's been cut out of 80mm solid plate, so it's bloody heavy as that bit. I'm thinking if I clamp a bit of plate on the side of there with a 15mm spacer, and then just lift this bit onto there and clamp it to that bit of plate, and then I'll have my 15mm offset for where I want to weld it round, and I'll also have something to clamp it to. Originally it was less than 15mm, but it doesn't matter, I can weld it back on with more gap around that end to weld it round. It's not going to affect anything. So I can get like one tack on the corner somewhere, and then I can decide how much camber, if any, I'm going to give it when I weld it back on. I suppose what I could do is put a plate underneath as well with the space, so I can sit it on that bit of plate, clamp it, and sit it on that side bit of plate, or sit it up against that side bit of plate and clamp it, and then move it to where I need it. That might be the best option. So I've got all this clamped on. It's been a bit fiddly, but I've got it clamped on. I've got that spacer on there and that clamped on there, and then I've got one tack on that corner. And then what I've done is I've put a bit of box section under that tube and a bit under that end, so that should be parallel with the concrete. And I've set a square up there, and I'm going to put it on without any camber angles, so the wheel is square with the tube, and then hopefully it shouldn't wear one side off the tyre. So I could do with having that box section a bit nearer, because I'm not going to be able to measure across there, just to check, make sure I am near enough zero on the camber. And then it's just about square across there. I can put the square in that way as well, make sure that's right. And then, but there is just a bit of a gap at the bottom in there, so I'll have to pull that up as well once I've got it where I want it. And then that should be tacked on at that. So a bit more fine tuning and then we'll be there. So I've got that pulled up there now, and it's near enough. I could have tacked a bit of box section on, but I just clamped a bit of plate on there and then put a clamp from there onto there to pull it up. So that's pulled that up. I've done away with all the camber, so now, yeah, that is square with that. So I'll put a few more tacks on it, and then we'll get it into a position where I can just weld it all the way around. It's not just me that doesn't like the cold mornings. The old Heister doesn't either. To be fair, it does need a new battery. If I had a new battery, she'd start straight up. So I've got this set up here now, ready to weld round, so I can weld all the way around there, nice and easy. So I'll have to preheat it first because that's 80mm solid. So I'll give it a nice preheat, probably like 150 degrees, maybe something like that, and then yeah, we'll just weld it round. So that's that welded round now, and 3 welds all the way around there. So I started in a different place every time. So I started about there the first time, there the second time, and then there the third time. Then it just, yeah, you don't want to be starting in the same place every time. And then, yeah, just weld it all the way around in one go. So that's that done. These plates that I cut off, I'll have to make some new ones to go back on, but I don't know where they need to be yet. So what we're going to do is put the axle back on the machine and then see where the leveling ram's going to be, and then I'll have to make some plates for that. Well, what they also wanted doing was a brace putting in on here, because apparently they're prone to either breaking off or twisting or whatever there. So I'm going to cut a plate out that I'll slide it down from that end that goes round this tube, and I'll press it so it'll it's sad because the time's in the way, but it'll come down like that, and then it'll go in there, go in like that, and then be welded round onto here. I don't know how far, maybe bring it out to like here somewhere, and then probably fill the sides in as well, just to brace it up a bit. So I'm going to cut this plate out to make the brace out of, and then that hole there, tube will go through there, and I'll press it one way, press it the other way, and then that bit will get welded onto the box section. So that's that pressed to go on there now. It is pressed a little bit more than what I was wanting, but I was just guessing, and my first guess was a little bit much. But we're committed now, so we'll work with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'll cut some strips out now to fill in round there. Whether I'd cut it out in one and then press it round the corner, or whether I just do it in strips. I'll probably press it, look better maybe, less welding. And then yeah, weld that up. So that's that extra brace all tacked round now. Should weld up nice. Yeah, I'm not sure how much extra support it'll give it, but that's what the customer wanted, so that's what they're getting. Should help, I suppose. Right, so that is that all welded round. I'll show you it all now. I'm going to give it a bit of a clean up. I'll show you it now before I clean it up. So yeah, that's what that looks like. So I'm giving it a quick clean up. I think I forgot to say that bit's 10mm and that bit's 6mm. Right, so next job now is these brackets that I cut off before that were on that way now need to be on the back here for the leveling ram. But obviously I can't just weld them on there because that's for the steering ram. The steering ram goes in here. So these brackets, I'll have to adapt them, or profile them out, plasma them out to come round that bit. So I wasn't quite sure whereabouts these brackets needed to be. I thought they'd maybe need to be on here somewhere. But anyway, the customer's had a look at his machine, and he says just to make them, just put them sort of where they were originally. So the ram is on joints, like rose joints, ball joints at the end, so the ram can run at a bit of an angle. So I'll just put them on here, sort of the same place where they were, and then make them come round here. So then the pin will be out here somewhere. So I've got that tacked on there now. That's sort of where it was, or where it needs to be, because where the steering ram goes, there's like a sensor on the back of it, so it knows what steering angle it's at. So I need a bit of room between here and there. So that's where that wants to be. So then I can draw off that the new plate that I need. We're not going to worry about that bottom hole because that one's never been used by the look of it. So that's what I've got drawn. So we'll cut two of them out of 15mm plate. It's a bit thicker than what the standard ones were. They were only 12, but because they're longer, I'll cut them out of thicker stuff. So I think I'll leave that 25 on there because I need that for another job. So I'll just shift that over. I'll bring in some 15, and then we'll cut some out. Right, so good to go. Got both of them set up. I'll probably cut one out and then stop it and lift it out, make sure we're right before I cut both out. But yeah, we should be right at that. So I've got them tacked on there, got a bit of box tacked on the end to stop them splaying out or in. The only thing might be an issue, I don't know how big a diameter the ram is that goes in here, so it might need a little bit trimming out of there. But it might be alright, I'm not sure. And then I've also put a little brace in there, just for a bit of extra strength on that bit. I might also put a plate in here to join them two together, just to give them a bit more support that way. I get plenty of weld on this one, but I can get one runner weld down there and one runner weld down there and one down there. The reason why it looks like it's not on straight is because I've done it straight with the box and that tube rather than this, because this is, now I've done away with the camber, it's on not straight with the box. Anyway, yeah, so we'll weld that on now. Right, so that is that all welded up. Got that brace in there. Put an extra bit in there to stop them, you know, twisting or whatever. A bit overkill maybe compared to old ones, but they're a lot further out. The other hole was down here, so they're a lot further out. So a better overkill than underkill. So yeah, that should do that. I think there should be clearance for the ram that goes in here, because it'd have to be a big diameter ram to catch. Worst comes to worst, it would just want a bit of trimming out around there, but I think it'd be alright. See, there's clearance, should be clearance there. So we'll give it a bit of a clean off, and then I'll just give it a bit of red oxide. Customer says they have some red, some Grimme red, so they're gonna paint it properly, so I'll just red oxide it. Yeah, so that is that job done now. Giving it a coat of red oxide, so that's ready to go back to the customer. So I hope that I've adequately explained to you what the part is and why I've been altering it. I know it's difficult to see looking at it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.